Right now, somewhere deep inside your brain, there's a switch your ancestors installed hundreds of thousands of years ago. You've probably felt it flip. Walking to your car alone at night, hearing a floorboard creak in an empty house, sensing without any real proof that something is wrong. That feeling isn't random, it isn't weakness. It's one of the oldest instincts a human being can have, and it kept your ancestors alive long enough to become your ancestors in the first place. Today we're going to trace exactly where that instinct came from, why it's still fully wired into your brain, and why, no matter how safe your modern life actually is, you will probably never fully turn it off. Let's start with the instinct itself. Scientists call it hypervigilance to threat, but you know it by a simpler name, that gut feeling something's not right. For most of human history, this feeling wasn't a glitch. It was a survival tool sharper than any weapon our ancestors carried. Early humans lived in a world absolutely stacked against them. No claws, no thick hide, no natural night vision, just soft skin, slow legs, and a brain that had to compensate for everything the body lacked. That compensation came in the form of threat detection running constantly in the background, even when nothing was actively wrong. A twig snapping in the wrong rhythm. A silence that suddenly felt too complete. A shadow that moved slightly out of place. Ancestors who noticed these signals early and reacted immediately survived to have children. Ancestors who shrugged them off, more often than not, simply didn't. Over hundreds of thousands of years, that instinct wasn't just useful, it became mandatory. Anyone born without a strong version of it was quietly removed from the gene pool by exactly the predators that instinct was designed to detect. This is where it gets interesting because your brain today still runs almost the exact same detection system, even though the threats have completely changed. There's a part of your brain called the amygdala, and one of its main jobs is scanning your environment for danger faster than your conscious mind can even process what it's looking at. Studies using brain imaging have shown the amygdala can react to a threatening stimulus in a fraction of a second, well before the rational, thinking part of your brain even catches up to what happened. This is why you can flinch at a sudden noise before you consciously register what the noise even was. Your ancestor's brain didn't have time to think, is that a lion or just the wind? It had to react first and process later because hesitation was often the difference between surviving the encounter and becoming someone else's meal. That split-second reaction system never got the memo that the world changed. It's still running right now in your skull, exactly as sensitive as it was 50,000 years ago. Here's a strange consequence of this. Your brain today is still far more afraid of things that were dangerous to your ancestors than things that are statistically dangerous to you. Spiders and snakes trigger fear responses in a huge percentage of people almost instantly, even in populations where venomous versions of either barely exist anymore. Meanwhile, cars, which kill over 1 million people worldwide every year, rarely trigger that same instinctive flinch. You don't feel your amygdala light up every time you cross a busy street, even though statistically that street is far more dangerous to you than most spiders you'll ever encounter. Why the mismatch? Because evolution doesn't update on a yearly software patch. It updates across thousands of generations. Cars have existed for barely over a century. Spiders and snakes have been legitimate threats to primates for millions of years. Your fear response is still running ancient priority settings, and cars simply haven't been around long enough to earn a spot on that list. This same outdated but still active system explains why you feel uneasy in the dark, even in your own home, even when you know logically that nothing is there. Darkness to your ancestors wasn't just an absence of light, it was an absence of information. Most large predators that hunted early humans, big cats especially, had far better night vision and were significantly more active after sunset. In the dark, humans lost their best defense mechanism, their eyesight, while predators kept theirs fully intact. So your brain developed a simple, brutally effective rule: uncertainty and low visibility equals danger, react accordingly. That rule cost nothing to follow and occasionally saved a life. The rule that ignored darkness and assumed everything was fine only had to be wrong once. You've inherited that exact rule. It's why turning off the lights and walking through your own familiar living room can still spike your heart rate slightly, even though you've walked that same path 1,000 times in daylight with zero danger. There's another layer to this instinct that's just as powerful, and it has nothing to do with predators directly. It's your reaction to being watched. Humans have an unusually strong, almost eerie sensitivity to the feeling of being observed. Some researchers believe this developed because, for early humans, being watched by an unseen predator or a hostile stranger often preceded an attack. Noticing that feeling even a few seconds earlier meant a few extra seconds to prepare, run, or call for help from the group. This is likely part of why so many people report feeling like someone's watching them, right before turning around and actually finding someone there. It's also why walking through an empty, poorly lit parking lot feels different from walking through the same space in daylight surrounded by people. Your ancient threat detection system is quietly running a background check the entire time, even when your conscious mind is thinking about something completely unrelated. Now, here's the part that ties everything together. This instinct wasn't designed to work alone. It was designed to work inside a group. A lone human noticing a threat could only run, hide, or fight, usually badly on their own terms with no backup. A human inside a group who noticed a threat could warn everyone else instantly. One person's hypervigilance became the entire tribe's early warning system. This is why humans are also unusually sensitive to other people's fear reactions. If someone near you suddenly tenses up, goes quiet, or stares intensely at something behind you, you feel an almost involuntary urge to turn and look too. That's not just curiosity. That's a survival mechanism passed down through thousands of generations of groups who lived or died based on how fast fear information spread from person to person. Even now, in a modern movie theater, when one character on screen realizes something horrifying is behind them, audiences worldwide instinctively tense up in almost the exact same way, regardless of language, culture, or country. That shared instant reaction isn't learned behavior. It's ancient wiring, still fully intact, still firing exactly the way it did for a small group of humans huddled together 50,000 years ago, watching the tree line for movement. So the next time your heart rate spikes for seemingly no reason, walking somewhere unfamiliar, hearing an unexpected sound behind you, feeling like eyes are on you in an empty room, understand what's actually happening. You're not overreacting. You're not being irrational. You're running a survival program installed by people who never met you, but who needed you to survive long enough to exist in the first place. That instinct isn't a flaw in you. It's proof of exactly how well it used to work. If you've ever felt that unexplainable chill walking somewhere alone, that's the same system, still fully online, still watching, exactly like it always has. Let me know the last time yours went off and where you were when it happened. And if you want to know what happens when that instinct gets it wrong and why false alarms might have actually helped your ancestors just as much as real ones, that video's right here. See you in the next one.